Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and I'm going to be actually setting up a reading journal for 2021. I know that I'm usually pretty K-pop focused on this channel, but reading is actually one of my other passions and I really want to start journaling about it. I've wanted to start a reading journal for a really long time, and I just feel like now is the time. 2021 is the year I'm gonna do a reading journal. So I actually got this dotted notebook from Amanda Rach Lee's shop because I love Amanda Rach Lee. She literally got me into bullet journaling and I was so excited when she released dotted notebooks. So I actually got one for my reading journal and one for my regular bullet journal this year because yeah, I just love her. So, I really was not really sure where to start as far as setting up my reading journal. I really want most of the spreads to be very comparable to how I do K-pop journal spreads, but instead of it being about like songs and music videos, it's just like a spread about the book, if that makes sense. But I did want to do some things towards the beginning, like maybe some goals or stuff like that. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of other people setting up their reading journals to kind of get an idea, and I was just trying to go for like a really like comfy vibe for the theme here. And I have a lot of these sort of like vintagey embellishments, so I thought that that would be a cool theme to go with, and I wanted to use this sort of like elongated cursive font. I kind of thought that I would just use that as like a, I don't know, like an embellishment font in these spreads, but I actually just exclusively ended up using it because I really had a lot of fun writing that way, and I just really liked how it turned out. So the first thing that I wanted to do in this journal is an index. The dotted notebooks from Shop Amanda Rach Lee don't have an index built in, so I wanted to make one just so I kind of know what spreads are in this journal. I ended up having to kind of change my lettering there, which I was really sad about because I really think it turned out really pretty, but I had to make it a little bit smaller so I had more room for boxes for the index because I don't want to have to make like a separate index or like stick another page in there, because that's the other thing about these notebooks is that they're already numbered, which is cool because then you don't have to number them, but it's also like scary because a lot of times I will mess up and I'll like rip pages out or like glue pages together and then the numbers will be messed up. So I had to be very careful with this journal. But yeah, so I just wanted to create an index at the beginning so that when I look back on it later, I can just be like, oh, this spread is in this journal, and then be able to find it. So after the index, I wanted to do kind of like a title page spread. I really did not plan out any of these spreads other than like I want this spread to go here and this spread to go here. But as far as like how I decorated it, I didn't plan any of that out in advance. I just like pulled out a bunch of different paper and embellishments and washi tapes that I thought would kind of go together. And I just basically just did some collage pages, which is actually so fun to do, to just kind of, it's very relaxing to me to just make these collages. I also printed off a couple pictures of like libraries and stuff like that just to make it seem more bookish. And yeah, I just really had a lot of fun with this. So my mom got me this book washi tape for Christmas, and I just thought it was so perfect and I had to incorporate it into this journal somehow. So yeah, I wanted to use that as a little bit of an embellishment at the top. And then I wanted this page to be kind of like a quote page to just really like set the tone for this journal. So the quote that I literally didn't even have to think about what quote I was going to use, it is from Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare, and it says, "It was books that made me feel that perhaps I was not complete." completely alone. And it's one of my favorite quotes of all time. Clockwork Princess is one of my favorite books of all time. And I just feel like it perfectly expresses how I feel about books. They've always been an escape for me. I've always loved to read ever since I was little. And I just feel like that will really set the tone for this journal. So yeah, on the other side, I just printed off a picture of a library and then I wrote out 2020 reading journal on the same craft paper that I did the quote on, and that is my title page. So on this next page is where I'm going to sort of record my reading challenge for 2021. My goal for this year is to read 50 books, which was also my goal last year, and I didn't quite make it. I know that that might seem kind of low to some people, but to be fair, I do work full time and I do YouTube and I have an Etsy shop. So I don't actually have as much time to read as I really would like to dedicate to reading. But I kind of thought that maybe if I start incorporating my reading journal into this channel, it will kind of give me more of an excuse to read for content purposes. So yeah, my goal this year is to read 50, and I just did these little boxes so then I sort of have like a visual of how I'm completing the challenge. I just think that that will be kind of inspiring to me to like get to fill in the little boxes and just like complete it as I go. So on the other side, I just decided to do another little collage and quote page. And I actually ran out of two-sided tape, and I was only using two-sided tape because I ran out of my tape runner. So I was like, well, I'll just use this two-sided tape, and then I ran out of that. So I had to use my Elmer's liquid cement glue because it was like 11 o'clock at night when I was filming this. And yeah, I just had to settle for what I have. Anyways, for this quote page, I wanted to use the quote, "Libraries were full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons." And that is another one of my favorite quotes of all time from another one of my favorite books of all time, which is Throne of Glass. Sarah J. Maas is probably my favorite author ever and has been for like several years now. So yeah, I really wanted to use a quote from one of those books, and I love this quote so much. So I just wanted an excuse to have another quote page. So, this spread is actually going to be my most anticipated books for the year, and I got this idea from a couple of other YouTubers that did similar spreads, and it is going to be 21 books in 2021. And I just picked out some of my most anticipated books, like the books that I'm most excited to read. Some of them are books that have been on my TBR list for like years now that I just haven't got to, that I really want to get to this year. Some of them are books that I just got for Christmas that I'm really excited about. Some of them are books that aren't even out yet but are coming out this year. In fact, two of them don't even have covers yet because they're coming out at the later part of the year. So for those, I just kind of drew a rectangle, and when the cover gets released, I will add the cover into that little section. So yeah, if you recognize any of these books and they're books that you've read or books that you're also excited to read this year, please let me know. I would love to talk about books with you guys. So this spread is another one that I saw a couple of other people doing in their reading journals, and I thought it was such a cool idea. And it's actually a bracket to sort of figure out my favorite book of the year. So basically, there are 12 slots originally, and I'm going to pick a favorite book from each month and put that in there, and then those two will go head to head, and I'll pick, my favorite from the two, and then eventually it'll get down to one. It won't be perfect because there might be like multiple books that I really loved in one month, but I just thought that it would be kind of fun and kind of a fun way to be like, okay, which book is going to beat out this book, next month or something. And yeah, I just thought it was a cute idea and I really wanted to try it. So on the page next to the bracket, I decided that I just wanted to do some goals. I haven't really decided what kind of goals I'm going to go for yet, other than obviously my reading challenge. I think that I want to have some goals, like maybe reading a nonfiction book, maybe trying out an audiobook, like just kind of a couple of things that are maybe out of my comfort zone as far as reading goes. So that is the last spread I decided to do in my overall setup. I didn't want to do too many and get myself too overwhelmed because I really, really want to keep up with this journal. So yeah, this is a flip through of my setup for my very first reading journal in 2021. I'm super excited. I hope that you guys don't mind me doing some content like this also, and maybe some of you also really like to read and we could talk about K-pop and reading. How cool would that be? But yeah, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe for more content. I've got a bunch of K-pop journaling videos coming out soon, and I'm going to post more reading journal videos. I'm really excited for all of the journaling I'm going to be doing this year. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!